Imagine this. You're standing at 21,000 feet, your fingers are numb, the wind is screaming, the sun is setting behind the Himalayas, and suddenly, you realize you forgot one small piece of gear, not expensive, not heavy, but critical, that moment. It has ended dreams, and in some cases, it has ended lives. This video is not just another gear list. This is your lifeline to the summit of Mera Peak and more importantly back home, because Mera Peak doesn't care how strong you are, it only respects preparation. Today I am going to show you the real essential gear for Mera Peak, what most people forget, what outdated advice gets wrong, and what separates a successful summit from a dangerous, heartbreaking failure. And you'll want to stay until the end, because one small, often overlooked item I'll mention later has saved more climbers than any expensive piece of equipment. You hear it all the time. Mera Peak is easy, it's a trekking peak, but let's be real. At 6,476 meters, over 21,000 feet, the oxygen is thin, the weather is brutal, and small mistakes become unforgiving. I have personally seen climbers shivering uncontrollably at high camp, completely depleted. I've watched people turn back just 200 meters from the summit, their goal in sight but out of reach. I've seen them crying. Not from physical pain, but from the deep, cutting regret of being unprepared. And why? It wasn't because they were weak, it was because they were under-equipped. The wrong gloves led to frostbite, the wrong boots meant a failed summit attempt, the wrong sleeping bag turned a crucial night of rest into a dangerous, sleepless ordeal. The right gear doesn't just protect your body, it protects your confidence, your focus, and your ability to make clear decisions when you're exhausted and the stakes are high. So let's build that protection layer by layer, starting with the absolute essentials for the climb itself. Mera Peak involves glaciers with hidden crevices, steep snow slopes, and fixed ropes on the final headwall. This isn't a simple walk up. You are responsible for your own safety, which means you must carry and know how to use your technical climbing gear. This includes a good pair of crampons, properly fitted to your boots before you leave home. You'll need an ice axe, your brake, and your balance on the snow. A climbing harness is non-negotiable, along with a helmet, a couple of locking carabiners, and a jumper or a sender for the fixed lines. Even if guides are setting the ropes, your life is in your hands. Now, the good news is, if you don't own this gear, you can rent it. You can find everything in Kathmandu or even in Khare, the last village before base camp. But whether you rent or buy, you must be comfortable using it. Next, let's talk about navigation. For when the world turns completely white, a sudden snowstorm can reduce visibility to zero in minutes. In these conditions, you need redundancy. That means carrying a GPS device or a watch with GPS, a physical map of the area, and a compass. Why all three? Because batteries die, phones freeze and shut down, and when panic sets in, people forget even the simplest functions on their devices. Knowing how to use a map and compass is a fundamental skill that could save your life. Navigation isn't about finding the summit. It's about making sure you can find your way back alive. Now for your life support system at high camp, your tent and your sleeping bag. These are not comfort items. They are your survival systems. Your sleeping bag must be rated to at least minus 20 degrees Celsius or minus for Fahrenheit. A warmer bag is always better. A cold, miserable night at altitude doesn't just suck. It drains your energy, slows your acclimatization, and can completely ruin your summit push before it even begins. Paired with this is an insulated sleeping mat. The cold ground will suck the heat right out of your body without one. Don't skimp here. A good night's sleep is your secret weapon. Let's move on to high-altitude health. Acute mountain sickness or AMS doesn't care how fit you are, how old you are, or how many mountains you've climbed. It can affect anyone. You must carry a personal medical kit. This should include any medication you take regularly, plus basics for the mountain. Talk to your doctor before you go about AMS medication like Diamox. Have blister care. A small blister can become a debilitating problem. Pack painkillers for the inevitable altitude headaches, and most importantly, listen to your body. No summit is worth your life. If you feel seriously unwell, it's time to descend. Water and energy. At altitude, you dehydrate incredibly fast, and dehydration will crush your performance and accelerate altitude sickness. You need a reliable way to get water. That means carrying water purification tablets or a filter. You also need insulated water bottles or a thermos. Why insulated? Because regular plastic bottles will freeze solid just when you need them most. You also need high energy snacks, nuts, chocolate, energy bars. At altitude, your appetite can disappear and eating feels like a chore, but you have to force yourself. Your body is a furnace burning thousands of calories a day just to stay warm and move. Fuel it constantly. Energy is survival. What happens when things go wrong? Communication becomes your lifeline. Depending on your team's setup, consider carrying a satellite phone or an emergency locator beacon like a Garmin InReach. These devices allow you to call for help when there's no cell service, which is most of the trek. You also need a solid power strategy. Bring multiple power banks to keep your devices charged, and a headlamp is absolutely critical with extra batteries. On summit day, you start in the dark. In the Himalayas, darkness comes early and suddenly never get caught without a light. Now let's dress for success, starting from the skin out. Your base layer is your second skin. The number one rule of mountain clothing is never wear cotton ever. At altitude, when you sweat, that sweat freezes. Cotton holds moisture against your skin and leaches away your body heat. It can be a killer. You must use synthetic or merino wool-based layers. They wick moisture away from your body and dry quickly. This layer is what keeps you alive, not what makes you look stylish. Next is your mid-layer. This is your heat retention layer. A good fleece jacket or a light insulated jacket is perfect. The key here is versatility. You need something that's easy to take off when you're working hard and sweating, and to put on the moment you stop and start to get cold. Layering is how you regulate your temperature on the mountain, where you can go from sweating to freezing in a matter of minutes. Your outer layer is your fortress against the elements. This is your waterproof and windproof shell jacket and pants. They protect you from wind, snow, and rain, keeping your insulating layers dry and effective. And then there's the big one, your down jacket. I'm not talking about a fashion puffer from the high street. I mean an expedition-grade down jacket designed for extreme cold. At high camp and on summit morning, when the temperatures plummet, this jacket feels like a warm hug from home. It's your personal sanctuary. Finally, we come to the parts that get cold first and cause the most problems. Your hands and feet. This is where so many people try to save money, and they pay a heavy price for it. For your hands, you need a 3-part system: thin inner liner gloves, warmer insulated gloves, and for summit day, a pair of thick expedition mittens. Mittens keep your fingers together and are far warmer than gloves. For your feet, you need proper double-layer mountaineering boots, not trekking boots. Mountaineering boots are rigid for crampons and heavily insulated. I have seen strong climbers turn back because their toes went numb in 10 minutes. Pain teaches powerful lessons, but Mera Peak doesn't give second chances. Pair your boots with high quality insulated wool or synthetic socks. So before you leave home, lay out every single piece of gear, check every item, test it, practice using your crampons, your harness, your jumper. Pack your bag intelligently, balance the weight and keep your essentials: water, snacks, headlamp, gloves easily accessible, and don't forget the small but crucial things: high UV rated sunglasses because snow blindness is real, high-factor sunscreen and lip balm because the sun at altitude is intense. A multi-tool can be a lifesaver. For gear repairs, and remember the item I mentioned at the start, the one that saves more climbers than any expensive equipment. It's knowledge and respect. Gear alone will not get you to the summit. Your mindset, your discipline, and your respect for the mountain will. Mera Peak rewards patience and preparation, and it punishes ego and haste. But standing on that summit, watching the sun rise over the giants of the world: Everest, Lhotse, Makalu, and Kanchenjunga, that moment feels earned, not lucky, earned because you prepared. You respected the mountain, and the mountain allowed you passage. Preparation is respect, and respect brings success. If this video helped you prepare, please share it with your climbing partner. It might just save their summit or even their life. Subscribe for more real Himalayan truth, not the myths you see on Instagram, and comment below: what mountain are you preparing for next? See you on the trail.